Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I want to talk about self-care. Not the eat well, drink well, sleep well sort, but rather taking care of yourself mentally. I'm in no way an expert on this, but there are things I've learned over the years that I want to share with you. If you end up liking this video, you should totally subscribe, by the way. First thing I have to say is, figure out whether you're an introvert, extrovert or ambivert. Because managing your energy and social battery is very, very important. Just to clear this up, introversion and extroversion is about how you spend and recharge your energy. Introverts spend energy by being social and regain energy by being alone. Extroverts spend energy by being alone and regain energy by being social. Another thing I want to clear up is, introverts are not antisocial and they don't hate people. In fact, they like being social a lot, it's just very draining and therefore they need to be alone to recharge. On the other side of the coin, extroverts don't hate to be alone either, they just prefer to spend time with other people. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The extrovert-introvert spectrum is very large and people aren't exclusively introverted or extroverted most of the time. You do have a bit of both in you, it just happens that one is more dominant than the other. Ambiverts are in the middle and have traits of both extroversion and introversion. They will alternate between the two, sometimes they feel introverted, other times extroverted. And figuring out where you are on the spectrum will help you manage your life a lot better. When we live in such a digital world, it can be hard to find time to go offline sometimes. But I assure you, it's very important to be in your own mind space at times without any distractions or stimuli. Whenever you feel restless or anxious, the solution is almost always taking time away from social media. If you feel the need to go from the PC as a whole, please do that. I find doing something physical like working out makes me feel a lot less anxious and more relaxed. Take time to work on a project or hobby, play an offline single player game, work out, take a walk, reach out to friends or family and hang out. Whether you decide to be by yourself or not, it should help you feel better and improve your mental health. This point is sort of related to the going offline thing, but using social media is definitely a one-track road to bad mental health. Granted, it's not too bad if used in moderation, but Twitter gets especially awful when used too much. YouTube isn't as bad since you can more or less decide what you want to watch or listen to, but it's easy to fall into the rabbit hole and watch videos aimlessly for hours on end. Watching or reading news can also affect you in a negative way. Again, do it in moderation. You don't need to know every single detail about what's going on in the world. Especially nowadays, this year as a whole, I'm sure you don't need to get depressed from reading about horrible events all around the world. Ignorance is bliss. You can't worry about the things you don't know after all. Besides, taking care of yourself is already enough to worry about. If a coworker, friend, family member or acquaintance asks you to do something with them or for them, and you don't want to, just say no. You not wanting to do said thing is good enough reason. There doesn't need to be a complex reason or excuse behind your rejection. What's even better is, if they ask you why you don't want to, you're not obligated to tell them. Because saying no should be enough. Also, I'm sorry to say, but if the person won't take no for an answer and won't give up until they get a yes from you, then they're probably not a good person. They might also manipulate you or guilt trip you if they don't get your desired outcome, so you have to be careful. But basically, if they're having a fit over you saying no, just leave them be. They're not worth your time, energy, or effort. Saying no to something because you want to do something just for yourself is okay. You're not being egotistical or selfish. Making sure your needs are being met is important. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish in the slightest. You're allowed to say no, and I'm saying this to all the people pleasers out there. Do what you want, okay? Don't do something just because the other person wants to. The feeling has to be mutual. This is definitely not for everyone, but if you're able to keep a journal where you write down your thoughts and concerns from time to time, that definitely helps. And I mean a physical notebook or something similar. You spend time with yourself reflecting and processing events, thoughts, worries, and concerns you may have. Getting your thoughts written down is the most important part, as they go from your mind down on paper. It might sound obvious, but getting thoughts out of your head really helps mentally speaking. This can be done at any time, of course, but I find it incredibly relaxing to do it right before I go to sleep. That way I get to sort out thoughts, good and bad, so it doesn't get in the way of me sleeping. Because I'm sure everybody knows, thinking will keep you up at night, so get it out of the way first. Then you can sleep in peace without anything disturbing you. Speaking of which... Okay, I said I wasn't gonna talk about sleep, but this one right here helps so much. Screens in general can be very exhausting for your eyes, so letting them rest for a while before you sleep helps you fall asleep quicker. Blue light and all that. Yeah, there are filters you can use to reduce the blue light, but it's not as good as just putting the phone, tablet or PC away. As I said, if you have a journal, jotting down stuff in there before sleep is great. If you have books or comics available to read, go for it. Otherwise, audiobooks, podcasts and such can also be nice to listen to as you wind down before the night is over. And there you have it. Some things about self-care I learned over the years that I think could be helpful to share. What actually works is different from person to person, so of course you have to figure out what works for you. Again, if you liked the video, please consider subscribing. If you watch until this point, you have no excuse. Thanks for watching, take care of yourselves, and goodbye.